Another thing I wanted to discuss with you today is the Andromeda ads setup and management workflow. This was one of the pre-submitted questions, and I get it so often now that I decided to turn it into a training. Okay, so please watch me explaining you how I set up and manage ads now since the Andromeda ad update. Okay, so I will basically come in here. The first thing that I do is I create a set of ads. What are these ads? It's the this ad always works ads. So when you come on here, works every time. This is the video. I ran thousands of ads. This works every time. And I want to show you this in Miro because this is just offer ads, right? So nothing about this changed. Nothing about ads on a smaller scale changed with the Andromeda update. So it's still an ad that is very much describing what your offer is with a very simple text. And this is the first campaign we will set up. It can be enough to have just your about page video, your community cover, a mock-up, and a talking head video. These can be enough to seed your first batch of ads, right? So here you can see, this is the loom from the about page, right? And I've used this multiple times. Then we have just simple talking head videos with the text on screen, like so. Then we have mock-ups of things that are inside your community or for your community itself, celebrating how many members. Right, so these are the type of ads that we want to run, and the copy is always the same. Hook that shows why they need your offer or in your community. Hi, who are you? Relevant background, again, proof. I created offer for customer who want X result, right? You get, list exactly what they get, join the offer now for price, link, final call to action. Always the same copy. The formats are really, really simple. They are either a mock-up or a loom where you walk them through what they get, or a talking head video that also has captions and screenshots of what they get, or just simply the cover of your community, right? So that's the first batch of ads that you want to create. And you are going to just create your campaign, regular setup, right? So foundation campaign, this is it ads, right? Between 1 to 5 different ones. This is the foundations campaign. And we're gonna always start it with a high volume campaign. And then from the price, we're going to do 1 to 2 times the price of your membership. Now, in my case, Grow with Evelyn right now has a 7-day free trial, but the lowest tier is $33. So I'm going to put between $33 and $66. So this is why 50 is a really great price for me to start it. Okay. And then I'm going to have highest volume. And I'm just going to, again, select my pixel, purchase as the conversion event. I will only add countries, the tier 1 countries, and then in here I will use the standard copy, right? And the creatives I just described to you, either mock up your community picture or a loom of what's included, or a talking head video that shows exactly what they get, right? For very, very detailed description, just watch the This Ad Always Works video. And you're gonna add all 5 in here under this foundations campaign. That is it. Right, so first campaign, I just want to put this here. So step number 1, create your foundations campaigns. These are the first campaigns. This is the offer ads, loom, mockup, community image, simple talking head with screenshots, 1 to 5 ads. 1 sales campaign, optimizing for purchase, 1 ad set, tier 1 countries, no targeting, okay? And then high volume bidding, 1 to 2 times the cost of your community lowest tier. For example, community lowest tier. Okay, so that's the first campaign that you create, right? That's the foundational campaign. Now, what you can also do with this is, and this is optional, turn this also into a target cost bidding campaign. 1K to 10K per day spent in budget, right? It will not spend all, with target cost 30% lower than your actual target cost. Okay, so what does this look like? I would now duplicate this and I would rename it to target cost, right? So once the ads are in here, and here I would go with a different bid strategy, cost per result go, and I would increase this. I just go to 10,000 because it won't spend that anyway. And then on the ad set level, I will put my target cost per purchase. And I know that I have a break even if I have around $30 cost per purchase. So the highest I can ever go here is 20. But ideally, I want to be overly cautious. So I can start with something like 15 or 17, and then I can slowly up it if the campaign doesn't spend. So this campaign will very likely not spend, and that's okay. We will keep adding ads over time. Okay, so that's the optional scaling campaign that you can right away add, is this target cost campaign. You don't have to do it, right? But it's a way for you to potentially scale a little quicker. Now, let's go for step 2. Test new ads. We will test new ads. So minimum is 5 to 10 new concepts. Same budget, 1 to 2 times front-end offer price, right? So here, if you think about it, the lowest tier is also the front-end offer price. And same setup as foundations campaign. Right now, runtime, 72 hours. Okay, so, and then optional, duplicate into target cost campaign again, right? So you can see this here in my account too. So this is my original traffic challenge campaign for scaling, right? So this is the target cost one. As you can see, it didn't scale like too far. This is the high volume one, and it did scale quite a bit, right? So I had my initial ads in here, duplicated it over, put the $10,000 budget, let it sit. Then I launched new campaigns, right? Here you can see always with the date, and I also would put them as high volume and also put them in a target cost campaign. And I would let them run after 72 hours. Now, what do we do after the 72 hours? Step number 3, check new campaigns. After 72 hours. Okay, now no purchase after 72 hours. Turn off the campaign. Start at step number 1. And if already your original "this is it" ad flopped, then you have offer work to do. You stop ads at this point. You look critically at your offer, right? So you verify that you have set up your ads correctly, but then you look at your offer and you make a hypothesis around why did it not sell? What do I need to tweak about my offer to potentially make it sell? And a really good book is the $100 million money models and the different offers that are in there, right? And see, can I tweak one of my offers, or can I tweak my front-end offers to reflect one of the attraction offers, for example, right? But if you have no sale on the original campaign, then go back to 0. So no purchase after 72 hours, maybe let's say on original campaign, stop ads and work on offer. New offer hypothesis. Repeat step number 1 for new offer. And you keep being there until you get live signs from your offer, which means at least one sale in 72 hours. Okay? So that's really critical. Once you have that lifeline, now for your new campaigns, once offer is confirmed, because foundations campaign gets purchases, look at new ad campaigns, and if no sales in 72 hours, turn off campaign, make new batch of ads to test, and set them up like in step number 2. If you have ads that made a sale, add them to foundational campaign using post ID. So how do we do that? Right? We go in here, and now you see, for example, in the school events, we started to get some sales here. This, for example, has not been added to the campaign. So you just select the ad that got a sale in the testing campaign, preview, Facebook post with comment. This is your post ID. And you go ahead and you add it to your foundational campaign. Duplicate just an existing ad. Paste the ID as the ad name. Enter the post ID here. And publish. And of course, you also want to do the same with your target cost campaign. So that's what you do regardless of the campaign's profitability. As soon as you find a purchase, you keep distributing it into campaigns that have previously performed, right? Now, if campaign overall is still profitable, increase the spend slightly. I like to move in $15 to $25 increments. Okay, people always are like, oh, don't do more than 10%, etc. It doesn't matter as much. Just start increasing. If campaign overall unprofitable, turn it off. Okay, and this is the cycle that you basically keep repeating, right? So you keep testing new ads and you keep distributing it. Step number 4, test new ads and distribute. Same as previous steps. Distribute ads that generate purchases into all profitable high volume and target cost campaigns. The budgets at which we were, even at bigger budgets, you do not compete with your own ads. Every new campaign is a standalone machine learning experiment that starts with initial conditions, which means that the first ad gets shown to the random first person, and depending on how they react, depending on all of the factors in their life right now, Meta finds the next person to show it to, and the next person, and the next person, and the next person. The analogy that I like to give is it's like throwing a seed out and it can land on fertile soil, right? And from there, it can grow into its own unique tree with its branches. And basically what you do with these new campaigns is you just throw seeds. And sometimes they just land on fertile ground and they grow in the right direction. And when you have that going on, you need to distribute ads that are proven to make a sale into that location. And you don't want to be concerned about consolidating, like, even with over 6-figure spent a day. You don't have to be considered because it's much more about distribution than it is, about one campaign that competes with each other. It's not the case like that at all. Please don't be worried about. The only thing that you need to be mindful of right now, because Facebook has so much inventory, is to delete ads that don't work, right? So after a while, you can go in, and yesterday I just cleaned it out. But let's say, for example, here, scaling volume 2, I look at this month, and then I also look at when was the campaign launched and when was the ad launched. So if this didn't generate a purchase since the 13th of November, here the 10th of November, here the 5th, I can just delete these out. So you just want to be mindful of deleting ads out just because of your page limit, not because of performance. We do not turn off any ads because of performance anymore. And this is how you manage them. And ultimately, you'll have multiple campaigns in here for the same offers, basically. And this is how, and you increase the budget if they keep doing well, but you also keep adding new campaigns. And only if a campaign doesn't perform at all, right? So like here, these stop performing and generating sales over a few days, and they also got too expensive, then you can turn it off eventually. But other than that, you keep testing and you keep adding your campaigns until you are at the desired spend with the desired cost. Do you know how conversion events are handled for a freemium school community? If somebody purchases a tier, does it also count as a conversion event that school can forward to Facebook? Yes, that's correct. So how it works is that you can decide with freemium community whether you want to optimize for complete registration or you want to optimize for the purchase. It's almost like a tripwire funnel, right? So when we're advertising a lead magnet and then we have a paid offer behind that, which is a very common funnel. People typically test optimizing for the lead event versus the purchase event because they want to see what's bottom line more profitable. Very often it will be actually optimizing for the sales event, although we have a free lead magnet. Just because we attract a higher quality audience because of the conversion event we choose. But there are also the funnels where you optimize for the lead event and it's actually bottom line more profitable than optimizing for sales. When in doubt, I would start with the sales event, and only if that's too expensive, I would go down and I would optimize for the complete registration event. But because of the conversion API integration, you actually can do both with your school ads. When do you do the MECI personas for ads? Excellent question. So this is where this comes in. In the first one, we don't do the MECI personas for the ads. Let me actually add a couple of screenshots here so we know when we do which ones. So this is the ad that always works, is the initial setup, right? So this didn't change. This was like this before Andromeda and it's still the same, right? So this is the same. We don't change this. Test new ads. This is where we have the Andromeda ads coming in, right? Because now we need to branch out into more personas, right? So it does make sense to state the obvious first and then expand into more personas. So this is when we're going in here. And we can play this game for a while, but then also once we have proven ads here too, it does make sense to put them into different formats. And let me give you a very specific tangible example for this as well. So for example, testing different angles, I found this winning avatar messaging. If you want to fill your school before you launch, I want you in this challenge, right? So this is when I realized I do have a lot of people that have hold up launching their school because they're concerned about how do I grow it, right? And this is when I was like, oh, there's an avatar, right? And there is an angle for this. Well, now I have to make ads for this avatar. But because in Growth Evelyn, yes, I did have some resources around growing your school, but I didn't have something specifically for this avatar to make them feel more launch ready, which I'm also working on more resources right now. I created something new to add and advertise that as a limited time bonus, which is the school branding kits. Right? So if you understand how these came to be, these are actually a variation of the other ad, right? Because if you look really close at the copy, make your school so pretty you can't keep putting off your launch. So it's thinking about the same person. Does that make sense? So you basically use the Andromeda to find your avatars, and then you make ads and tweaks to the offers for the avatars that work really well. So I'm going to also add these to the dashboard as well. Thank you. That's an excellent question. Right. So this was here when we test messaging, and then the messaging tests, they find winners that then inform our next ads and ideally also our community creation, right? So what's needed? What do people want from us? This is why I say running ads is one of the biggest opportunities to understand what people actually want from you, right? So this is an iteration of this ad. Right, and then here we just have, again, iterate and distribute. But this is basically breaking out. And of course, I can also now go into the different formats as well. So another one that I did was just a loom walking through, right? So this is another variation of then moving into different formats, right? Because I can also make, for example, for this avatar now, I can also walk them through the school launch kits that they get with a video, right? So it's basically the ad that always works, the very obvious about the offer, the angles, based on the angles, lean into what works, optimize your offer itself, and then make ads that show this optimized part of the offer. We also have in here, this is where it comes in. How do you advertise an offer from within your community? Right? So ideally your ads and the feedback inform your product development as well. So this is kind of the transition piece to this here. Right? So it's not just an ad cycle, it's also a product development cycle. And you go into different formats as well. I still have a lot more opportunity breaking into different formats. I know that. But I've been a bit lazy and made a lot of images. Do you think the hook line only on an ad with no images would work well for an offer as a low ad? Yeah, it's my strongest ad right now, if you think about it, which is crazy. All right, so this was the workflow for the Andromeda ads, and I hope this helps.